But because our message is sort of sexy and very unique, the playbook, how to sell real estate and professional sports, people came because it's different. And it is different. And they're right. They came because they're interested, they're curious. And some people walked away with some nuggets that they wanted to expand their business in sports, get into sports. There's a few that said, I don't want to go through what you guys go through. I don't want to even be in sports. I was just curious about the topic.
Today's episode is brought to you by Andy Bovender, the founder of the Bovender team out of the Carolinas. Him and his team have helped more than 5,000 families. So if you have a client or a friend or a family member who's been thinking about making a move to or from that area, they are the team to call. If you scroll down to the description below, you can follow the link. Today, I sit down with Greg Hidder, and he talks about how he broke into not only the luxury market, but the sub-niche market of sports and entertainment. And within that, how he makes little magical moments each step of the process all the way through. Next up is the Inner Circle Group. Have you ever wanted to just ask a question to one of the past guests, or maybe just get some peer coaching? If so, then follow the link in the description below to learn a little bit more. And as always, I'm your host and San Francisco referral partner, Shawn Kunkler. Greg, what's up, man? Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, Sean, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Dude, this is gonna be fun. I feel like there's so much I want to just pick your brain about what you're doing in your business and your strategy. But before we get there, if you could, in a couple sentences, just share with the listeners who you are and what you do.
Greg Hidder from Phoenix Market, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Metro Phoenix. We have a hybrid team. My daughter works with me. She runs the operations. Call her chief of staff. She also is in a little bit of production. We have a couple buyers agents that we dish off to that are in our office. So we run lean and mean, high quality, high touch. And I have a focus in professional sports. About 80% of my business is related to professional sports, pro athletes, everything that comes with that.
That's incredible. And I know you shared right before we started recording that 98% of your business is referral.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's bonkers, man. That's
Yeah.
there's only a couple agents that I know that are up in that echelon of referrals, which is just incredible. What do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to a lot of time spent in person with people. We have a business networking group that I attend once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I also stay in touch with past clients. I've been in the community for about 37 years,
That is,
and I was a business owner in between some time in real estate. And I really connected with a lot of people outside of the industry in other businesses. And
mm,
so I think age, longevity in a market, you just accumulate a big network. And I've done a
yeah,
really good job of trying to focus on not losing touch with the key people.
that's incredibly hard, especially as business life. You're juggling a lot of balls, and it's really easy to just lose touch with people, friends. Like we've all lost connection with people through the years. For those agents who are listening who are newer, and I'm not trying to throw shade, but the ones who think that I should be calling everybody and asking them if they're ready to buy and sell, we all know that's not the best strategy. What's your strategy to just reconnect or to continue to stay in flow with people?
I think it's more of reminding people that you're in the business, that you're a resource, whether they're ready to buy and sell. Maybe it's a question. Never really ask. I just put myself in the right position, whether it be in person, on my social media.
Yeah.
We still do, people are astonished at this. We still do a hard copy newsletter once a month.
Really?
Yeah, it's about a 6 pager, I think. And we send it out to our select database. I think it's up to 500 now. We don't send it to everybody, but
Hmm.
people that will know us and refer us, and just a really nice way to, hey, here's a couple things on the market. Here's a national view. Here's a couple financial nuggets. And oh, by the way, our business is 100% by referral or 95% or whatever it sort of is that month. I used to say 100, but we're doing more marketing around listings and neighborhoods. And so some of it's trickling in that's not specifically referred. But staying in touch in a subtle way, just as a reminder, but never really
Yeah.
calling and asking for business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's you're of the very few who are still sending a newsletter. Most people do the just listed,
Yeah.
just sell,
Or an
sold.
email newsletter.
But I like it if you're including nuggets on a national market and you're working with athletes. They're probably going to have to move at some point, and they're probably going to have to leave the area when they transact.
Right. Yeah. So the newsletter's been great. It keeps us in front of people without asking.
Yeah.
My number one uh, referral network, and I'm sorry, I got a little fly buzzing around me here. It's a nice
I
spring
see
day
him
in
railing through every once in a while.
Phoenix. It's 107 today, I think. So the flies are trying to get inside and cool
Jeez.
off, I think.
Cool off.
Yeah, so I think the newsletter is a way to stay in touch. I sharpen my skills, my networking skills at a business networking meeting every Wednesday. There's about 75 people in all different industries.
Wow.
I show up at dinners. I throw dinners. I'm always trying to stay in front of people. I mix lifestyle and business in my Instagram and my Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't have a personal and a business. I think it's important to blend it all. And so just staying top of mind in the business. Sorry, like this fly is telling me to get out of its way.
Trying to get a cameo is what it's
Yeah,
doing.
exactly. So it's just being out there in the public when you're not working a deal. I will tell you the other little nugget that I learned many years ago in this business is if I do ask, it's in a subtle way. I might be sitting with a buyer or a seller and we're consulting and I said, "Hey, I just want you to know 98% of my business is by referral. And the way that benefits you is I don't have to pay for inbound lead generation or spend time chasing dead end leads like a lot of agents. And it frees up my time to spend with the people who are referred to me. And in turn, most of those people refer me business during the transaction, not because they have to, but because they want to. So it's an opportunity for me to really engage at a high level.
Mm.
Instead of gleaning 50 leads and closing two, I maybe get 10 or 15 referrals and close 14 of them. So
Yeah.
it's a way for me to provide high level, high touch, quality luxury service at a concierge level.
That's so smart. And I love there's an elegance to it where there's so much structured in what you're saying. It's not just I do transactions and I'm successful, but you're going to be successful with working through me and have a great experience because of it. There's
Right.
like so much woven into that little bit that you shared. I love that. It's such a good approach. And in kind of speaking on relationship, I mean, you and I are sitting here because of relationships. Like
Hmm.
our good friend Andy pulled me to a dinner. You happened to be there. We hit it off, and I was like, "Hey, man, totally got to do this podcast with me."
Yeah. Yeah. That was
And
great.
and I and
Organic
I
curation of friendships and business relationships and opportunities. It's what really the Compass Retreat is all about.
yeah, I mean, it's just like yeah, when you find that right group of people, they tend to hang out with people who are like you, and
Hmm.
everybody just gels. But that's where those opportunities start peaking up. I mean, I'm in a mass
Yeah.
transient market, so it's inevitable. It's a matter of time until somebody makes a move. And if I already have somebody I know, I like them, and I trust them, and I know they work in the luxury tier, it's like it's halfway there. And then we both know, you just shared it, the referral close rate is astronomical. It's way
Hmm.
easier to close a referral than it is
That's right.
to try to win a relationship through some like random online lead, build this, fabricate like this instant relationship and then convert
Hmm.
them. It's such a uphill battle. Have you been completely neglecting your newsletter, social media, or any of your outbound marketing? If so, I have a solution for you. With little to no commitment, a virtual assistant can jump in and help you in those areas you just don't have the time for. For more information about hiring a virtual assistant, go ahead and follow the link in the description below.
It's also much more pleasant to work with clients that are referred to you because there's already a level of trust.
Yeah.
that they bring to the equation because they know somebody that you knew or did business with, which is
Yeah,
important.
in talking about your, I really like the way you think about business. It's more like you think of it from strategy, almost like a professional coach, like coaching a team. It's not just like, hey, go catch the ball, but it's like this whole encompassing thing. Tell me, or let's talk about, you hosted the Playbook,
Hmm.
a sit down meeting, which the whole thing is so brilliantly executed. But let's just go from the beginning, get
Yeah.
everybody up to speed.
Yeah. So background is I'm in the Compass Sports and Entertainment division. There's about 150 of us in the division, maybe 160 in 70 markets, all the major markets where there might be sports or sports related sports and entertainment markets.
Yeah.
And within that group, we did over $11 billion in transactions last year as producing agents. And so it's a really high productive group. We
Yeah.
network. We have two of our own meetups a year, one on our own, and then one tied to the Compass Retreat. And so it's an amazing group of high performing agents. What I did at this Denver retreat last week is I want to get exposure outside of our sports and entertainment division.
Mm.
And so I put together a panel hosted by Steve Shull, coach, one of the preferred coaches by Compass with performance coaching. He's actually my coach.
Yeah. Who's
And I also,
also a former athlete.
former athlete, NFL player, played for Don Shula, the Hall of Fame coach of the
Amazing.
Dolphins in the 80s. And so he's got a great story and he's a great coach. He's an acquired taste, but he's a good coach. He
Yeah.
reminds me of old football coaches I've had. And
100%.
so when I went, it's my third retreat, and I said, well, how can I start to build relationships outside of our sports and entertainment division? Nothing against the division. It's awesome. But I know there's 36,000 agents, I think, in Compass nationally. I know there's a lot of people in the network that still work with pro athletes. They work
Mm.
with high profile and affluent buyers and sellers. And so I wanted to open up the conversation and just kind of give back to the group. And so I opened about 2 weeks before the event or before the retreat. I decided to do a panel, and we had myself, Allie Garner Knoll from Nashville. She's got an amazing sports background.
Yeah.
She was with CAA, one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. Now she's a high producing agent in Nashville. Lori Abbey from Denver, the local host, and then Beth Stans, a financial advisor who focuses on sports. And I sent out invitations, a 70-room penthouse that we accessed. It was a listing, about a $6 million listing from a Compass agent in downtown Denver. And we filled up the room with 70 agents. We had 85 RSVPs. We maxed out. And we believe we were able to share, having an open dialogue, and we connected with a lot of agents in the network. It was awesome. Yeah, we were really excited about it.
It's brilliant on so many levels, man. I
Like
mean,
I told you, if I would have put that out there and said, "Hey, how to grow your business in real estate," 5 people would have showed up.
yeah.
But because our message is sort of sexy and very unique, the playbook, how to sell real estate and professional sports, people came because it's different. And it is different. And they're
Yeah.
right. They came because they're interested, they're curious. And some people walked away with some nuggets that they wanted to expand their business in sports, get into sports. There's a few that said, I don't want to go through what you guys go through. I don't want to even be in sports. I was just curious about the topic. But
Yeah.
all of those touches and all of those connections will lead to opportunities for us down the road because whether it be a referral outside of sports or a question that somebody might have in a different market, I'm an
Yeah,
open
man.
book. If anyone has any needs or questions about working in pro sports in another market, I'm happy to chat with them.
Dude, that is so. Did you guys record that?
We have some content, but we didn't record the whole thing. But we are going to take it on the road. We're going to do some Zoom stuff
Yeah.
for the group, and we are also going to strategically put ourselves in some of the regional summits that our network hosts. Compass offices throughout the country.
Yeah, that's such a good, it's such a smart angle because I mean, I shared it with you. It's like generic actions get generic results, but when it's
Yeah.
hyper specific like that, you're attracting the right people
Hmm.
to the room, that's always the hardest with any marketing. That is always the absolute hardest piece. But yeah, I would love to see it. Like if you put out content, just tag me in it. I
Yeah,
would love to check it out. It
I'll
sounds
share
like
some with you.
such a good strategy.
Yeah, it was great. We really were happy with it. The feedback was awesome. One of the other little strategic, I don't want to call it strategic because I think collaborate without ego is a big
Yeah,
something I've had to embrace since coming over to Compass a couple years ago. And Cindy Scholl, I don't know if you know her, she just
I don't.
launched the family office division at Compass. And so strategically, I'm saying, okay, I've wanted to meet Cindy. We've met in passing. We haven't spent a lot of time together. There's some synergy between family office and pro sports and entertainment. They
Sure.
both have similar models, although a lot of the athletes aren't billionaires yet. But family office has, office, advisory. They have business managers. They might have house managers. Whatever it is, there's a similar setup as there is in working in pro sports and entertainment. So I introduced her at the beginning, let her talk about her new division. So it's really about giving back and then connecting the dots to the most important people in the circle.
Hey, real estate pros, be honest. You know you should be using video, but maybe you feel awkward, don't have the time, or just aren't seeing the results. This is where Kim Rittberg's Video Bootcamp comes in. This live coaching program helps agents create high quality videos quickly and confidently, resulting in leads and clients. Her students have seen results. One landed 3 new clients directly from social media, and others brought in millions of dollars in closed sales. Spots are limited, and to apply now, follow the link in the description below. That's what this podcast is. It's
There you go.
me creating a platform to give these to basically make agents like yourself. You're the star of the show. Like I'm here to learn from you and to put out that message. And I think that's when I got into the business, I didn't realize how important those relationships are. And now similar to you, I don't know what my numbers are. I probably should, but so much of my business is just referrals from the people I've met through the podcast,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
that's
are
awesome.
top performing agents. It's like this, it just becomes this, it just grows, and it grows on its own momentum by looking for opportunities to lift somebody else up or to
Right.
introduce them to your group, which there's a reciprocity experience that happens through that, which
Yeah.
is just
I didn't tell you this when we first started talking off camera. You had mentioned to me that a lot of a lot of the viewers are 1 to 5 years, some longer, but everyone out here is looking for an edge, right? So
always
what I didn't tell you is I left the business in '99 to start another company, totally unrelated to real estate. I
really.
was involved in that business. We were in the supply chain management, nothing too sexy, but it was a very successful business. I sold out to my business partner in 2012 because I was gone. I wanted to get off the road. I was gone. Our main facility became Los Angeles. My
Mm,
kids were growing up in Phoenix, and I was in a divorce situation. So getting back here and not missing their events was really important. So I sold out to my partner, came back to took 2 years off and came back to real estate in 2014. Well, when I came back, I said, well, how do I hit the ground running without missing a beat? Because time isn't on my side like a lot of younger people. So
yeah.
technology wasn't a big thing when I left the business in 1999, and the MLS was just becoming public. So
Mm,
all these new tools in 2014 led me down the road of I'm going to specialize in working with pro athletes. I started an Instagram account, pro.athletes.realestate. And so, and I put it out there on Instagram, and I didn't have a listing. I never sold a house over $1 million. And I put it out there and I started posting lifestyle content. And every once in a while I'd post somebody's listing. I was always, you know, upfront and transparent. I would tag the agent but I would never pass it off as mine. And one time I tagged a football player, and it was an indoor gym, and he started communicating with me. And that was when the light bulb went. I said, wait a minute, there's something to this. We communicated. I networked with a few people that knew him. We met in a valet line at a charity event. He bought a house from me within a few weeks for about $3 million, which was a lot of money in 2017. I mean, it's still a lot of money.
still a lot of money.
That $3 million house is worth probably 10 now. the point is that light bulb went off and I said, wait a minute, the more hyper focused I can get on a specific demographic, the more they're going to raise their hand and think I'm speaking directly to them as the expert in their field.
Yeah.
Whether they're a 25-year-old athlete, I believe this works in any specific industry. Whether a 25-year-old athlete on their first big contract or a 60-year-old CEO, a doctor, an attorney, whatever, an entertainer. We have somebody in our group who specializes in politics. He
Mm.
finds homes for politicians in the DC area. And so that was the big eye opener for me. And it doesn't have to be, and for a while I struggled with, I had two websites. I had my non luxury website and I had my pro athletes website because I was always afraid that somebody might think I only do luxury and then maybe they don't call me for the non luxury purchase. Well, those days are over because we have so much proof that speaking hyper local to that specific avatar will get them to raise their hand and get the phone to ring. And everyone else will either do business with you or won't, but you have that specialty in the luxury world working with a specific demographic.
That is such a brilliant way to chip away at it, and I love that you actually used the specific word avatar. I feel so many agents don't have the ideal client avatar, so their messaging is all over the map.
Mm-hmm.
They're not speaking to a hyper specific person. And not for nothing, if you ran ads on a national level, they're exponentially more expensive than if you ran an ad for a specific block in your hometown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the more specific you are, it's you're 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 actually attracting that right person to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I don't know why this just popped into my head. I don't know if you know the Knox brothers out of Naples, Florida.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. Yeah.
They're avid golfers. They sell golf to the golf community, and their business plan when they started was one of the brothers is going to go literally golf every day and make friends because the people golfing want to live around the neighborhood. And so that's literally how they built it. But it was so hyper clear as this is our ideal client. They're hanging out here. We're going to spend time around them. And I think that also parlays to one of your other overarching points is actually spending time with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just texting them. It's not just, from doing communications from afar, but it's actually sitting down face to face and
Yeah.
having conversations and learning about them. And then that parlays into a stronger relationship, which parlays into actual referrals, actual
Yeah.
business.
For sure. We have some people here that specialize in golf course communities. They're
Mm,
big golfers. They put out there on their website or in their marketing golf course community specialist. And, they join a country club and they become the specialist in the golf world. And it works because golfers are great with networking. Great. You're on the course with somebody for 3 or 4 hours,
exactly.
three other people, and you're in a cart with somebody maybe you didn't meet. I know guys all the time, they show up solo. They call their little, their pro or their whoever's parent for the pairings, and they say, "Hey, well, who's on the list today? Where's there a spot?" And they strategically get slotted in with somebody maybe he was new to the club or she, a new couple, whatever it is. They
Yeah.
slot them in accordingly, so that they can meet people on the golf course and they're doing something they love.
I think it's so smart. And you don't have to dial for dollars. There's ways that you can do the thing that you really enjoy doing
Hmm.
and still pick up opportunities. And it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
kind of
For
stepping
sure.
back and figuring that thing out.
For sure.
But I love that before you even add the client base and before you're even doing it, you're like, this is what first of all, you made up your mind, like, this is what I'm doing. And then you projected doing it, which then manifested it actually happening.
Yeah, I did. And well, it's taken me a while to be more focused on sport. I'm more focused on sports now
Yeah.
than 10 years ago. And with the coaxing of my coach, Steve Scholl, and a few big wins under my belt and getting traction in the sports world, Phoenix is a hotbed for sports. We have half of Major League Baseball trains here. We have baseball, basketball, and football. We had hockey. They left. But a lot of families come through here to train. They're here in the off season and they end up playing elsewhere, and maybe they come back. There's a lot of rehab facilities here, training facilities, and then
Really?
obviously we have all the teams. Yeah. So here's a little nugget for you.
All right. I'm here
Did
for
you
it.
know in big city San Francisco, Sean, most people, there's a lot of people, and I'm stunned as I travel through the Compass Network. Phoenix is the fifth largest city in the country.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I
So
would have even guessed that, to be honest.
I
Like if
know
you
you
said
wouldn't.
what's
Yeah. Yeah. It's
like
bigger
what
than
is it?
Denver, bigger than San Diego. It's after, it's obviously New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix. And we've been one of the fastest growing metro areas in the last 20 years, if you break it down by head count. And so metro wise, I think we're up to close to 4 million, and city wise, we're at like almost
Oh
two.
shit.
So it's, and we have, people say, well, it's hot. Why do people move to Arizona? I sell predictable weather, right? We know it's going to be hot.
It's
So,
true.
yeah. And so there's, when it's 110 or 115, you don't have to board up your windows and leave the city. You can stay.
That's
It may not be
hilarious.
comfortable. The other thing too is, I like to tout Phoenix, but our tax structure, we just went to 2.5 flat income tax last year, which attracts a lot of California
Holy
people and
crap. I
other
would
Washington.
love for that, man.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good things going on. And the number one question people ask me is, what about water? Because we're in the desert, and so you'd think that we're scarce on water. We are in a drought now, but we have some of the best water rights than anybody in the western states,
Really?
and so it
Where's
allows
the
us to
this is
grow.
such a random question. Where's the water come from?
I don't know. We're on a hundred
Fair.
year. We're sitting on 100-year aquifer water, one of the largest reserves in the western states,
Oh
and then
wow.
we have the Colorado River as well. And we're an hour and a half from 10,000 feet. Flagstaff's 9,000 feet. Hour and 45 minutes away with a lot of snow and different weather conditions. So it's an attraction for not just pro athletes, but it's one of the fastest growing luxury markets. I
Yeah.
just saw an article the other day. But per capita, we have the highest increase of wealth migration in the country.
Really?
So it's been fun. It's a good market.
It's interesting. A buddy, I haven't spent much time there, but a buddy of mine just went and he's like, he was surprised at the diversity in landscape. He's like, you kind of have an idea of it's all like desert. And he was like, totally wasn't. And
Hmm.
he was just blown away.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a pretty cool spot. Here's a
Hmm.
San Francisco fun fact. The footprint of San Francisco is smaller than Disney's parking lot.
Wow. The city limits of San Fran.
Yeah, we're only 7 by 7 miles. So
That's crazy.
it's pretty tiny. And there's 6,000 licensed agents here
In San Fran.
in San Francisco in the city. Yeah.
Wow.
So try to
Wow.
break out of that. How do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
stand out and be the person they hire?
Well, we have, if it helps you out at all, I was just looking at this the other day. We're down, well, I shouldn't say we're down. We were over 50,000 agents a few years ago in our MLS. It's basically Maricopa County, Phoenix Metro. We're down to like 42,000 agents.
Wow. Yeah, I actually just heard this terrifying fact. Last year, 1.7 million agents sold zero properties.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy to think about. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also weird because I'm in such an odd echo chamber by doing this podcast because I don't generally talk to that side.
Hmm.
I talk to agents like you or Andy who Andy's got a 40-person team. Like I think his lifetime transactions like north of 5,000, which is
Hmm. Yeah, I remember him
staggering
saying that.
numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And so I realize like there's a lot of agents who are struggling, but I sometimes lose connection of that because
Hmm.
I get to sit down with people like you.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's the niching. I think is just such an important component of that. And in these newer agents who are trying to break in or level up their business,
Hmm.
it's sometimes just slowing down, figuring out where you want to be,
Hmm.
and like putting your gas, like hitting the gas in that category.
Hmm.
When I started, I this was back before Compass came to town. There was probably maybe a half dozen pretty good sized brokerages, but no one brokerage was like the dominator.
Hmm.
And I looked at the MLS and I started going through and seeing which brokerage sold on the north side. North side tends to be a little bit more luxury. The the typically the 2-3 million plus category. And then within that, I was like, well, which brokerage is doing that production? And then within that, who are the top agents? And I was like, hell or high water, I'm making friends with those agents. And then I made friends with one agent in particular. She was amazing. And I don't even know how I managed to finagle my way in, but get some open houses. And I just went over the top. Very much like the Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's a great book.
I would text her when I got there. I would get there early and text her, and then I would bring a broom and I would sweep out front, and I would like put up signs. I would clean the house. I would just like go way over the top and be texting her the whole time. Like, hey, just got here. I put signs on all these corners and just went
Hmm.
really hard on the paint. She wound up giving me after a while a ton of her open houses, but my first deal in the city was for 2.6
Wow.
out of the gate, my very first transaction. And it's similar to you. I knew where I wanted to go, and then I just had to figure out the vehicles to get me
Hmm.
to that point and then do the work. Like
Yeah.
show up.
I think it's like I look at my sphere and my referral base, and I look at it as a farm. Instead of farming a community or an area, a zip
Agreed.
code, I've farmed the people that I've met over the last almost 40 years I've been in
Yeah.
Phoenix. And when my daughter came to work with me, she was 23, right out of school. She put some school on hold to come work with me. She was going to get her master's and she needed a break. And the first thing I made her do was to write down every name she knew of every friend to introduce them to the concept that you were going to be in the real estate business. And that was at 23. I think she's done 3 or 4 deals because of that.
Amazing.
And we added her to our marketing list and they get all our marketing. But we farm a community of people, not necessarily a geographic community.
Yeah, and I think the other like side of it, even with your network, regardless of which state you went to school in, with this business, to your point of building a whole referral, like you 95% of your business is referral. Just because I still have family in Connecticut, there's so many of those referrals I've sent out. I've sent
Yeah,
out
for sure.
last between last week and this week, I've sent out 3 referrals.
That's awesome.
Totally different
Yeah.
markets that I'm not even anywhere a part of, but because I'm
Hmm.
connected with people in all these different markets. So I think collecting everybody you know
Yeah.
and hanging out, talking to them,
Hmm.
making those connections, and then subtly reminding people of who you are and what you're doing, just over time, it's the consistency. It
That's
starts
right.
to pay off. You know, it's like if you want to get better at golf, consistently practice. You'll
Yeah,
get better at
for sure.
golf. It's the way it works.
Yeah. They're not going to know about you unless you let them know about you.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, for sure.
We actually just we're revamping our newsletter. Ours is not print; it's electronic, so we're on a different vein. But I love the idea of doing print, and then we just added a new section of how we can help, and we're kind of revamping that and just
Hmm.
reminding people, like, hey, if you're looking for that vacation home in Tahoe, or you're looking for to get out of the high taxes, like here are some other places you can explore, and if you'd like an intro to an amazing agent, like I'm happy to help you
Hmm.
and just setting up like kind of setting up those marketing pieces
Right.
to let people
Yeah.
know in the future.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, my referral percentage is not based on any, well, I've gotten a few in Compass, but I've only been here a short time.
Yeah.
So most of it's just from past clients and local stuff. I am adding the Compass network as one of my
Yeah.
referral pillars and spending a lot more time in that network to glean more opportunities inside, inbound and outbound. Because
Yeah.
we're a huge feeder market for Bay Area, Southern California, Washington, Colorado, Chicago.
Yeah.
65,000 people moved here last year from California
That's huge.
to the Phoenix metro area.
Remind me after we're done recording, I'll send
Yeah.
you a link. You can actually search it and then you can drill it down to the specific zip codes.
Oh, yeah, that's
And,
awesome. I
and
love
then
that.
you can basically just start making connections literally in those zip codes. But I like what you said, of viewing your farm as clients. And it's
Hmm.
somebody told me years ago, they're like, when you're getting to the point of recruiting and you're trying to get agents to join your team, he's like, they become your clients. And so you should be nurturing and following up with them. And I firmly believe that your, let's say, the agent referral network, that's a client base that you continue to build
Right.
a relationship with. Your past clients who already know you, that's a base that you continue. It's not just focus on your A buyers, B buyers, and C. It's like go way deeper
Thousand
than that.
percent. Here's a real live example that has unfolded in the last few weeks. There's an agent. I don't like to name names, and but there's an agent in another market that sent me an inbound referral for an NFL player. It was a
Nice.
lease, $5,000 a month. I'll make a few $100. My client, obviously, I'm going to take good care of the client, but my client is the agent that sent me the business. Because if I don't do a good job for that client, it's not
Sure.
about the money. You can't lead with the money. It's a reward. So here's the biggest mistake people make in the referral world.
Yeah.
Your job, my job as an agent, is to reward that referral conversation,
Yes.
not when it closes, right? So if you send me a referral, I don't wait till it closes to gift you, right? You're going to get a referral fee. But the point I'm making is I bend over backwards to make sure how thankful I am and how grateful I am for you to think about me to send me a referral, whether I ever hear from that person again. Because I want to
Exactly.
condition you for me to be the number one go-to in whatever market, or you or whomever that other agent is. And so I see so often people don't do leases, they don't reward or thank the inbound referral agent, and I think it sets a bad tone. I think
Yeah.
it's or a negative tone. I think it's the wrong move if you're trying to build a business.
Yeah.
If somebody refers me somebody, I don't care what the purchase price is or the lease price is, it's an opportunity for me to get a touch with a client who's a
Yeah.
pro sports guy or a potential doctor that was in med school that might want to lease, but specifically that agent that's got an overflow of referral opportunities on a national level.
Yeah. I really appreciate the way you think about the business, and not everybody does think like that. But I liken it to like the Pavlovian effect. It's like reward the behavior that you want.
Yes.
Don't reward the result from your work. Just reward the behavior. And the behavior is, hey, you sent me a referral. Dude, I am sending you an amazing gift. You're gonna have a great time out with
Hmm.
your partner. You're gonna get some chocolate. You're gonna get something to just for the referral. I don't care if it closes
Hmm.
ever. Like I
Yeah.
am going to make that experience of you hooking me up on that thing so
Hmm.
big that you're gonna look for an opportunity to send me another one.
Right.
And then when it closes, like it's gangbusters at that point. I'm gonna go even bigger at that point. And so it's like, yeah, I think that's a lost opportunity. And
Yeah.
especially like a client sends you a referral. I'm trying to think who it is. Lindsay Jacobs,
Hmm. St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yes, thank you. She she actually puts her clients once a referral comes in, they go on to they're part of the Gold Club, I think it's called. I might be misquoting it for a year, and every month they get a gift
Wow. That's awesome. I
for a
love that.
referral. Like and so it's like so big and so over the top that they are looking for ways to get back onto the this to be a part of this exclusive experience.
They don't want
She
to miss
actually
out. They don't want to lose their status.
exactly. And it's like actual gifts. It's not like tchotchke pens and
Right.
magnets. It's like
Yeah,
actual
that's
like
awesome. I
wow.
love that.
Yeah,
I
like
read a quote. I'm all in with this William Guardia. Is that how you say his name? The author of
I don't know how to pronounce it,
Unreasonable
but
Hospitality.
I'm going to say you're right.
I read a quote. I was listening to his TED talk yesterday, and he says, and if you haven't read the book, read it. Not
Yeah.
you, but your audience. And if you haven't seen his keynote, there's a TED talk that really consolidates the keynote that we saw at the retreat. And he said, we take extraordinary, and he grew the number, he took over a restaurant and grew it to the number one restaurant in the world, not because it had the best food or the best ambiance or the best service, but because they went out of their way above and beyond and personalized
Yeah.
the experience. And his quote was, we take ordinary transactions and turn them into extraordinary experiences. And there's so many of us in the service world, whether it be an attorney or an advisor or realtor, doctor, and there's so much competition. And really what
Yeah.
sets us apart isn't the transaction, it's the experience.
It's so true. And like, not for nothing, in San Francisco, there's a bazillion restaurants. But when a restaurant really does something extraordinary, it's and they create just such a magical moment. It's
Hmm.
you want to go back. It's not. It's like you're drawn. You're pulled back to that.
Right.
We have that inner circle group where a whole bunch of guests hang out, and actually for the next session, which is in a couple weeks, we're going to actually be unpacking that book and then talking about collectively how could we take the practices from the book and make for better experiences in our business. But I think it's such a great point. It's not just the business, it's our referral partners, it's the other agents we're collaborating with. Not for nothing, we don't do deals by ourselves. We have clients, there's agents on the other side, there's escrow officers, there's lenders, there's so many moving parts, and all of those are opportunities to build relationships. And so I
Hmm.
think I'm really excited to get to like really dig into the book. Funny enough, I messaged Will on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get him as a guest. So if anybody has a
Wow.
connection to him, that's the thing I'm manifesting. I'm gonna have him
That would
on
be
this.
awesome.
I totally want to have him on this podcast.
That'd be great. He was an amazing speaker and a great storyteller.
I think
And
that's what it was. His stories were just they kept a room full of ADD agents off their
yeah,
phone and totally locked in. Like I
that's
looked
right.
around at one point and the only people who had their phones were recording them.
That's
Like
great.
no one was like texting client. It was like we were all just like locked in. He was
He brought that book to life. He brought that book to life.
such a good speaker.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was actually I would say that was the highlight I would say for me
Yeah.
of the
I
whole
think that
retreat.
there's a message in that for all of us. And I live it every day. I've been living it in the last 10 days where there's been a couple situations on a pretty big listing that we're prepping. The guy had just purchased a over $10 million house and we're prepping his old one that'll be listed at like nine. And, when nickels and dimes come around and the cleaning's $300 or $400 and, a couple maintenance things pop up and, I just take care of him. Like I'm not going to bother him because of that. Now, when big ticket roofing items or maintenance or paint or floor refinishing or things like that are significant, we obviously that's a approval that the seller has to have or the homeowner.
Yeah.
But we're in the business of simplifying people's lives. I
Yeah.
almost call it like being a lifestyle manager because the less disruptive we can be to their lives, and I believe this is true in any level, whether they're athlete or doctor or a supervisor or any walk of life. If you can simplify their lives
Yeah.
and not drag them through the quagmire on deals and really smooth things out and be 5 steps ahead
Yeah.
of everything and really create a process and experience that's second to none. That's when they're going to refer. That's when they're going to refer you business and come back to you for a lifetime.
Yeah. Those are my favorite emails to send. Like, hey, we're at the property and XYZ needs to be taken care of. Don't worry about it. I already took
Yeah.
care of it for you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's it. And then it's just like, you get the holy crap, serious? Thank you.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
For sure.
And it just makes everybody feel good. And it's a nominal, it's a cost of, I just view it as a cost of doing business. And it keeps everything moving smoothly and it keeps people happy.
Yeah. I think it's an entry fee to ask for a referral opportunity down the road,
Yeah.
whether it happens
I,
organically or if you nudge him, and you just say, hey, we're going to be out of work after we sell your house or whatever the conversation is. I always like to have fun. And so, I just think it's the right thing to do, and again, I'm not saying bankroll the process, but I think that we don't step up enough.
Yeah.
If somebody's paying you a significant commission on a house and you call them for $37 of light bulbs, I think you're probably not going to be in the business very long.
God, I can't even tell you how many. I actually keep light bulbs here now because like I'll usually order a pack and then you only need three and you have like four left over. And so they accumulate in my garage. I have so many like little stupid things for a house, like handles
Oh
and
yeah, for
like
sure.
broken hinges and just all those little things that you replace, but you only need one and you now have two. And I
Yeah,
just take care of it. And then, but I do think it's really important to just say to the client, like, hey, this was broken. I just took care of it for you. I didn't want you to worry
yeah,
about this. And then they're like, oh, like you can just feel the stress because everything else is chaotic and stressful for them. And they then know if you're taking care of the little stuff, you also are taking care of the big stuff.
right.
And
Inevitably, something's going to come up. There's going to be some turbulence down the road, and when the turbulence comes, and you've already paved the way for doing the right thing on certain
yeah,
situations, a lot of times they'll be on your side when you need them to be on your side. So I think we put this is just so basic. We put rechargeable vacuums at houses and
yeah.
wet Swiffers and anything we can do to help maintain the house, especially if they travel a lot or if the house is vacant. Leaf blowers is a big thing. I think I bought multiple leaf blowers, and we try and have them at the houses for patios
That's smart.
and driveways and stuff. And when the time's right, we already have it at the house when there's a new listing that comes up.
It's funny. We, through the years and through the evolution, we created this pretty robust checklist. And there's a tote. Every new listing gets a tote. And then in the tote is a magic eraser and window cleaner and door stops
That's
and
awesome.
like paintbrush, like anything that you'll possibly need to just take care of something on the fly.
Hmm.
Plus, there's like pens and notebooks, anything you'll need for open houses. There's the speakers, the portable speakers for open house. It's like literally everything and anything that you could possibly need. Because all of us, we've shown up and there was like a storm the night before and there's leaves everywhere and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then, and if you don't have it, it's like, great. Now I have a showing and this place just does not look perfect. And
Right.
so,
That's great. Yeah, you got to be there for all things. So yeah, it's fun. That's just how you create the experience. And a lot of times it's thankless work, but it's easier just to do it sometimes than to ask for them to do it. And it gets done, quickly and efficiently, and they appreciate it for sure.
I think at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the reality is they're paying us to solve a problem. And we shouldn't be producing the problem. And if they're, to
Hmm.
your point, if they're just minimal and nominal, just take care of it. Like it
Right.
just, it not only saves a lot of time because you don't need approval, you don't need to do anything else. You
Hmm.
just literally take care of it. But you put a massive savings into that relationship account
Yeah.
for that future withdrawal, which is the referral or
Yeah.
for the review or whatever it may be.
That's why you have to have good vendors on your side. Maintenance people,
Oh yeah.
handyman, contractor, cleaner, roofer, HVAC, designer, painter. I mean, it all and to the point where you take great care of them
Yeah.
and they move you to the top of the list when you need them the most. And so facilitating that transaction, we're really like we're writers, directors, and producers
Totally.
all at the same time. By the way, we'll get your house sold too, but that's what makes
We
it fun.
it's so funny. I mean, I gift all my vendors. Like I make sure they get like really nice
Hmm.
gifts at random times. I'm now thinking about it. Like sometimes you have a condo and some of the neighbors are going to be a total pain. You just know they're going to be a pain in the ass. So it's like we'll go over early with a note like, "Hey, we apologize in advance if anybody blocks your driveway. Please call me immediately if it should happen. And here's a box of chocolate or here's some
Yeah, that's
some
awesome.
cookies. Like I want nothing for you to have but amazing experience. That's it. Like
Yeah.
that's my goal." And
I
I've
had an
gotten
attorney the other day, a state planner. We had to get some title work done and some hiding identity and taking title in an LLC. And he did a bunch of I wouldn't say work, but a lot of consulting with the advisor and the client.
Yeah.
And I said, they said send him a bill. He didn't want to send him a bill, so I just sent him a $500 gift certificate to a really good restaurant because it was a big deal for me to have him on speed dial to show my client that
Yeah.
we're the resource. And so you take care of these people, and they'll end up taking care of you at some point.
It's incredible. I mean, I always feel like very blessed in this, but my client bought a property on like a Friday. On a Sunday, there was a crazy storm and her window was leaking. It was like pouring rain in. And she's like, calls me in a panic. She's like, I've called 5 roofers because it was like right at the seam. She's like, no one will show. And I was like, give me a second. I called my guy. He's like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And I called her back and I was like, I got somebody going over for 15 minutes. She's like, how did you do that? And I was like, it's through the years of taking care of people and like
Yeah.
making sure that their life is easy, makes my life easy. And then those moments when I really need somebody to show up, people have your back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I had a football player last year. I sold him his house in 2017 and pretty big house. And he's a really low profile, like high, everyone knows him, but he wants, like, he doesn't want you to mail him anything. He wants to make sure that his address and name are hidden. And
Yeah.
so I wasn't in touch for many years. I talked to his advisor once in a while, but he called me out of the blue, and I won't even say his name, but he said, "Hey, my gas stove doesn't work." After 7 years, I sold him this house, and was that 8 years? Yeah, 7 or 8 years. His stove wouldn't go on. And so I said, I walked him through a couple things, thinking what it might be. I said, I've got a guy. Let me call him to see if I can get him over there. I called my plumber HVAC guy, and he was over there in 20 minutes and lit the pilot light for him. And I'm telling you, that guy will not call anybody but me from here for the next 20 years, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, because they
It's
just know like you get it done.
yeah, we
Like,
lit his pilot light for free, and I told the guy to invoice me. And so, but I think I wrote him a check for 125 bucks to be over there in 20 minutes. Who wouldn't do that for a phone call from a client like that once a year?
yeah, I mean, if you just keep everybody happy and you take care of,
Yeah.
it's, I, it's like if my sibling or my parents called me and same thing, like, hey, I can't get this stove. Yeah, I would treat it the same way. I would
Hmm.
just be like, hold on a second, I'll take care of it. And then
Right.
I would
Yeah. You
just,
just step in. That's why we're problem solvers. By the way, have you ever heard of this guy, Gary? His name's Gary Sanchez from the Y Institute. I got to
no.
share this with you. I won't go into detail on here. I'll send you a link, and if you want to call him, you can. But he has this the little personality test where you come out and this is who you are and this is how you work best with people and how they work best with you. He
Yeah.
came up with this test about how to figure out your why. And we always say our whys are kids or providing for myself, whatever it is. So mostly surface level stuff. Well, after this
Mhm.
series of questions, about a half an hour test, comes out with your why, how, and what. And my why is there's a better way.
Oh, interesting.
That's what drives me. And so how can you get any more perfect for the real estate industry to
Huh.
have a why that's there's a better way? Because in every transaction or every relationship, aren't we always trying to figure out what's the better way?
I wonder if that's mine because I feel like I look at everything like that. Everything. I'm always
So go
like,
to Y Institute for you and your listeners, Y Institute, and check it out. He loves to provide I don't know, I can't remember how much it costs. It's not very expensive for one-offs, but big groups of people can get discounts, I think. But it's
nice.
great because it's understanding how I work, like the people I work with. We've taken the test. It's how we work. It's kind of an inside look at how people tick. And my Gary Sanchez, who came up with the theory, said, "What if you took this? What if every client took this test before you started working with them, so
Oh
you
my
could
God.
understand them better? Wouldn't that be
Dude,
incredible?"
that would be so wild. Yeah,
So
that
I'm
would
going to
be.
try it out. I haven't had a chance to try it with a client, but I don't think they would be offended if you ask them to say, hey, you know what? Everyone's different. We have a process and a system, but we like to, curate a custom experience. And if you're open to it, would you take this why assessment? And I think it would give us a really good look at who these people are that we're working with.
It's interesting. I don't use that, which I do want to explore it. I memorized the DISC personality profiler, which I feel like gets you close, but you don't know the why.
Hmm.
And I can usually, and as soon as somebody starts talking, I can usually start picking up like which of their drivers there are. And
Hmm.
then if it's a client, I'm usually listening to, I'm trying to figure out which of the four they are. And then I'm trying to figure out what vocabulary they're using, what's exciting them, what's interesting to them, and then mirroring that back to them. So then they know that I'm speaking their
Right.
language.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to explore this one.
Hmm.
This one sounds really interesting.
Total similar topic, but different author. Have you read Never Split the Difference? Chris
Phenomenal.
Voss?
I feel like I've studied the
Yeah,
crap out of
he's
that book.
bringing that to the business world, and relationships, and how to communicate with tactical empathy versus, we
Mm,
always think, especially me, I grew up in a family, I'm the youngest of four boys, and you know, we always try to get people to make decisions based on logic and reason. And I think we do that too much in this business. And he teaches tactical empathy to really mirror back and listen and get the people to open up more about what their situation is
yeah.
without telling them what it might be. And basically, he calls it crossing the street to be on their side. And Steve Schultz teaches it quite a bit for real estate. And it's taught me a lot about how to communicate with clients, but also how to communicate with friends and family as well.
The tactical empathy is it's really interesting, especially in a new relationship with a client, because you basically are serving it back to them and then they can either correct you or clarify it or agree.
Hmm.
And it is it's fascinating because it
Hmm.
does strip down a layer of guard because you're kind of entering their world.
Right. And you're reminding them, you're asking no oriented questions, because if you ask a yes oriented question, they believe you're leading them down the path of being closed.
Yeah.
So you ask a no oriented question and you mirror it back to them, and when you mirror it back to them, it just is a reminder to them that you're actually hearing what they're saying,
Yeah.
instead of trying to think of the next statement you're going to make to try and get them to sign a contract or agree with you or whatever you're trying to accomplish. So it's really good stuff.
It's funny. That's why I think I kind of have like I have mixed feelings. Part of me thinks scripts are just total crap,
Hmm.
and then part of me thinks scripts are pretty good. But it's like, sure, you should. I think you should have scripts, and you should have a destination in mind. But I think you should not have a that rigid of a plan. It's not
For sure.
dissimilar from this podcast. It's like if I had a list of pre-organized questions, I wouldn't actually be answering. I wouldn't be really listening to what you're saying and then riffing off of that and exploring that further. I would just be waiting for my next question to be fired. And the other thing it does, if I have a pre-list of questions, it's it's almost like I've hijacked your organic process and
For
confined
sure.
you to this other thing. Whereas an empathetic statement or a curiosity of like, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Hmm.
It it's like, who knows? I don't like, I was telling you at the beginning of this podcast, I sit down, I have no idea where it's going to go. I have
Yeah,
no
that's
idea.
awesome. I like that.
And
No,
it's fun.
I do that in listing appointments.
Same.
I mean, I have an idea where it's going to go, and I'm certainly
Exactly.
guiding, but I don't have a predetermined canned. We have a little presentation that we do if they're open to it, mostly marketing focused, so they can see, the sexy visuals. But for the most part, it's a conversation without any notepads,
Yeah.
without any, preconceived destination, other than just to find out about why we're there and why us.
Yeah. Have you read Pitch Anything?
That name sounds familiar. I don't think I read it. I might have listened to part of it, but no, I haven't.
I'm trying to remember the author. Oren, I think the author's name is.
Hmm.
I'm blanking on it. There's actually some good nuggets in there if you kind of mix the nuggets in that book with Never Split the Difference.
Hmm.
It's a lot of framing. Like how do you before you say something, like how are you framing it so they can perceive that next piece? But if you mix that with the empathetic statements, it's like an interesting, it's almost like a power duo by putting the
Hmm.
two together.
Yeah.
And I straight up, it's funny when, especially when I'm going into a listing and they're like, "Oh, we're interviewing four people," and I'm always like, "Great," because I'm interviewing you too. I want to decide if you're going to be a right client for us,
Hmm.
and just like immediately spin the tables.
Right.
Which is, it's like I pulled pieces of out of that book, Pitch Anything. So
That's
totally
awesome.
worth
Chris
listening to.
Voss, Chris teaches, and I know Steve Scholl is collaborates with him. Is he teaches you how to identify as quickly as possible if you're the favorite or the fool.
I
And
love that.
if you identify you're the fool on the phone, then you don't go to the listing appointment.
Yeah,
Because if you're the favorite, you have an 80% or more chance of winning the listing. And
yeah.
if you're the fool, you have less than a 10% chance, maybe 20, 10 to 20%.
It's so
And
true.
so it's and if you do win the listing, if you're the fool before and you go win the listing, you're probably not going to have a good experience
Yeah,
because you weren't the favorite out of the gate. So
yeah,
I'm trying to go on more listing appointments where I'm the favorite
yeah,
instead of the fool. You know, the
yeah.
fool
That's
is they're trying to just glean information from you to solidify where they want to price it or that their other choice is the right choice, or maybe somebody's less experienced and they want to take your approach and say, hey, we'll give you the listing if you do what all this stuff all these other agents are doing. And they kind of form a marketing plan to their inexperienced agent based on, what more experienced agents that they don't know want to do. So
yeah.
I try not to go on those appointments anymore.
I agree. I've probably gone on a couple that I shouldn't. Like
We always do.
like you left there and you're like, man, I shouldn't have been there. I should have just left.
Yeah, 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 for sure. It's an interesting business.
It is such an interesting business. But man, we're actually at time. So, Greg,
Okay.
thanks for joining me today, dude. I really thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was great. I hope that was helpful.
Super helpful. I know it
Great
was
to
for
chat with
me.
you, man.
Like I feel like I definitely got some good nuggets to bring back and put into my business.
Awesome. All right, man. Stay in touch. Don't be a stranger.
Cool. And that is a wrap.
Take care, Sean.